back. I am Jason Wiersema. This is Tankers Fantasy Football, and we got some great start 'em and sit 'em matchups for you guys moving into Week 12 as the fantasy playoffs bear down on us, boys. And I know we can't afford to take a loss with the fantasy playoffs vastly approaching, so we got to really dig deep on these starts and sits this week. But before we get started, you know how we do here at Tankers Fantasy Football. Maybe you take your finger, go down there, and push that little thumbs up button, give us a little likey poo. Maybe you don't. Maybe you give us a subscription. Maybe you don't. Maybe you go fuck yourself. All right, we're going to get right into this action with some Jalen Samuels. If James Conner misses this game, which I do believe he does, Samuels has the Bengals. They're giving him the fourth most yards at 162 scrimmage yards to running backs a game, along with the fourth most touchdowns as well. So the fourth most yards at 162 and the fourth most touchdowns are the Bengals giving up to running backs this week. So I think, the Steelers don't really have anybody else. Juju's looking to sit. Deontay Johnson's looking to sit. James Conner, like I said, is looking to sit. So all in on the Jalen Samuels this week. All right, another smash play situation. We got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt playing the Dolphins. They're giving up the second most yards at 168 scrimmage yards a game, two running backs. So all in. Nick Chubb's been kind of, hurting you lately, not really being involved in the passing game since Kareem Hunt has arrived. But I think Nick Chubb's going to go out there and eat via the rush this week. Probably fall his ass into the end zone once or twice for you this week. So all in on the Nick Chubb and the Kareem up. Tevin Coleman, since he's had that 4-touchdown game versus the Panthers, he's kind of been out there sucking that ween for you out there. But he does get to have a get-right matchup this week going against the Packers, getting up the sixth most yards, 157 scrimmage yards all game to running backs, and the third most touchdowns. So all in on some Tevin Coleman as an RB2 this week. All right, some David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen. I think they're going to be very flex play worthy for you this week as well. Playing the Giants, getting up the eighth most yards to running backs at 151 scrimmage yards to running backs all game. So David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen, if you got him, get him in your lineup, boys. We had some Darius Geis. AP has some turf toe. I know AP's usually on the Roto World injury report come Wednesday anyway, but if AP does somehow miss this game, AP only played 25% snap share last week. Chris Thompson probably looking to come back as well, so that's kind of muddying the waters even more. But I think if you're looking to play any of these Redskins running backs this week, I think it's got to be Geis playing against the Lions, giving the third most yards at 164 yards, and the second most touchdowns are the Lions. So, you're in desperation play, RB3, flex play, Darius Geis action, let's get it done. All right, this next guy, are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. All right, enough of me singing, boys. We were talking about Bo Scarborough of the Lions playing against the Redskins. They're giving the fifth most yards to running backs. So if you're in desperate need, this guy wasn't targeted in the passing game last week, but if you were in desperate need for an RB3, I think you can go out there and probably scoop Bo Scarborough Fair off your waiver wire. We got some sits, moving into some sits for the running backs. That Brian Hill went out there last week, was the waiver darling of the week last year. You guys got 4.8 PPR points on the week. It's absolutely shit the bed, and he's got a tough road to hoe this week, playing against the Bucs, who are going to have the second fewest yards to running backs and the third fewest touchdowns. We got some Mixon. I'm not going to sit Mixon. Mixon been loving you sexy for those last 3 weeks out there, being able to get it done for you, Joe. Looking spry, looking sexy deluxe as Joe. Diamond in the rough, the ultimate shit pile rough that is the Cincinnati Bengals, and Joe Mixon is just a beacon of hope. But he does have the Steelers give him the third fewest yards, give him the third fewest fantasy points, and the third fewest touchdowns to opposing running backs. So, I guess we got to temper our expectations on Joe. We're kind of always going to Cincinnati Bengals games doing that anyway because he plays for the fucking Bengals. But I'm not saying bench Joe. I'm just saying maybe Joe doesn't get his ass in the end zone for you this week. All right, we got some Carlos Hyde. The Colts are pretty tough. Colts got a good offensive line. The Colts got a good defensive line. That's kind of their cut of their jib. The Colts are giving the 5th fewest touchdowns and the 6th fewest points to opposing running backs. So, you know, if you got any other options, I'd probably lean away from Carlos Hyde this week. Right, moving into some start wide receivers of the week, boys. We got DJ Moore playing the Saints. If Marquise Lattimore misses again, even if he doesn't, his hammy's probably going to hamper him up a little bit out there. And DJ Moore has been seeing 30% target share over these last few games, which is absolutely sexy deluxe. So I know we've been waiting on that blow-up spot. He's kind of been fucking around between 15 and 20 PPR points. He's only found his ass in the end zone once. I don't even know. I mean, as of last week, he hadn't even been targeted inside the 10 all season. I think we finally get a DJ Moore touchdown this week, boys. All right, Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley was on the start list last week. Since Hooper is out, Sanu has been traded, and Freeman is also on the mend. But I don't think Hooper's looking to come back this week. Probably Hooper next week. But Ridley does have a juicy matchup versus the Buccaneers. They're getting up the most yards, 202 yards, 2 wide receivers a game, along with the most touchdowns. So smash play, Calvin Ridley. Oh, we got some Allen Robinson playing the Giants out there, getting up the 2nd most yards, 194 yards, 2 wide receivers a game, and the 5th most touchdowns. So I don't think Mitchell Trubisky is capable of producing 194 wide receiver yards any Sunday, even if he's playing against like the fucking Sauk Valley Skyhawks or something like that. He probably can't even do it against them. But I think Allen Robinson is still a strong wide receiver 3 for you this week. Right? All right, that's from Tyrell Williams versus the Jets. Are getting up the 7th most yards at 179 yards a game, 2 wide receivers, and the 4th most touchdowns. So I think we can go out there and run out some Tyrell Williams. All right, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. I think if any time Odell Beckham Jr. can shed his golden shovel label, I mean, if he doesn't get it done this week, he's official golden shovel. He's official dead and gone. But playing against the Dolphins is OBJ this week, and the Dolphins are giving the 3rd most touchdowns to opposing wide receivers. So Landry has gotten in the end zone the last 3 weeks. I think he's a good back-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3 play, but I think you can finally feel a little bit of confidence, just a little bit confidence to get Odell Beckham Jr. back into your fantasy lineup. So we got some DK Metcalf playing against the Eagles, who are giving the 3rd most touchdowns and the 2nd most points to opposing wide receivers. So all in this week, DK Metcalf, especially with Tyler Lockett, a little bit banged up out there. We got some T.Y. Hilton. If he suits up, I would definitely run him out there with confidence, because the Texans are giving up the 4th most points to wide receiver, and T.Y. just always likes to eat versus those Texans. All right, moving into some sits at wide receiver this week. We got some Michael Gallup. I know he's been loving you sexy as of late. He was getting in the end zone, and last week he said, forget the end zone, I'm just going to get 9 receptions for 148 yards, but I don't know. I'm a little bit worried. The Patriots defense is in New England. The Patriots defense is tough as nails. They're going to put the clamps on the situation. Amari Cooper will probably get the Gilmore treatment, but I think Michael Gallup will be limited as well. The Patriots are giving the fewest yards and the fewest touchdowns to opposing wide receivers on this season. All right, we got another sit. We got Mohamed Sanu, same game, playing the Cowboys. Cowboys defense, Cowboys secondary is tough. Not as tough as the Pats, but still pretty tough. And the Cowboys are giving the 5th fewest yards and the 3rd fewest touchdowns to opposing wide receivers. Sanu went all over. Went out there last week after his big performance before the bye week out there. Just went over there and just shit all over your chest in week 11 with like the 3 PPR points. But I think you can stick the confidence and just leave him on your bench. No worries. All right, we got some Darius Slayton playing against the Bears. I know I might have to run out Darius Slayton in the league. Not really feeling very confident about it, because the Bears Bears are a pile of cocks out there. But if anything, the Bears are still right at is the Bears secondary. I mean, the Bears secondary still giving up the 2nd fewest touchdowns and the 4th fewest points to opposing wide receivers. But I'm still probably going to have to run Darius Slayton out in my second flex and just hope for the best out there. All right, we're going to move. All right, we got some quarterbacks. We're going to move into some quarterbacks And some tight ends to finish her out. We got some Matt Ryan in a smash play versus the Bucs, the second most yards, over 300 yards a game, and the second most touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks. Mayfield versus the Dolphins, giving the fourth most touchdowns. I think we can feel just a little bit of confidence, and firing up some Baker Mayfield this week as well. All right, on another start, I guess we got one more. We got Sam Darnold playing against the Raiders, giving the third most touchdowns and the fifth most points. So if you're in absolute desperation need, I think you can go out there and get Sam Darnold off your waiver wire. Maybe you got Kyler Murray on bye. You know, I actually don't have to worry about really Phillip Rivers on bye. He's been out there sucking that pile of cocks as well. Maybe you got Mahomes on bye, or not. What am I even talking about? Maybe you got Kyler Murray on bye, and you know, you go out there and you run yourself out the likes of Sam Darnold. All right, well, you might have Mahomes on bye. I'm fucking up already. I'm fucking up. The Chiefs do have a bye. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I was right. I contradicted myself. I was right all along, boys. So maybe you're out Mahomes, maybe you're out Kyler Murray, who are both top 5 quarterbacks thus far this season. Maybe you just need a stretch play. Maybe you need somebody just to get you over the hump. I know it's dicey, but let's run out some Sam Darnold. All right, Josh Allen, he did blow it up for you last week. I think he was the number 1 quarterback score last week. He's got a tough one versus the Broncos. Even though it's in Buffalo, the Broncos are giving the third fewest points to opposing running backs on this season. We got some Tom Brady's been kind of not start worthy all season, but don't think about it this week because the Cowboys secondary, like I said earlier, pretty tough, giving up the 6th fewest points to opposing running backs. All right, we got one start. We got one sit at tight end. We got Ryan Griffin playing the Raiders, giving the 3rd most touchdowns and the 3rd most points. And then we got Noah Fant on the sit list playing the Bills. We're giving the 2nd fewest yards and the 2nd fewest touchdowns to opposing tight ends, and that goes all the way back into last season. The Bills have been super tough on tight ends for the last 2 seasons. All right, like the cut of my jib, hook us up with a like. You got to smash the piss out of that like button. It's the only way that we are going to go over and get into the recommended section to future Tankers Fantasy Football listeners out there, people. And you know, you got to get us to share, spread the word, or you want to be selfish, or you want to hoard tankers all to yourself. But I'm telling you, quit being selfish. Get out there, spread the word, and dump the copy, paste this thing, throw it all over the fucking place. You know, you go to Thanksgiving next week. You know, you go to your uncle. Maybe your uncle wants to talk a little football, and you're like, you know, you should check out, Uncle, some Tankers Fantasy Football. All right, boys, I did miss the buy and sell. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any more buy and sell videos this year. I think everybody's trade deadline has dead and gone. I was a little super under the weather. I toughed through it on Monday with the waiver wires. I woke up on Tuesday feeling like death. Could barely fucking breathe out of my nose. So, I mean, you know, probably sound really nasally, really shitty. Had this thumping sinus headache. Didn't really, you know, I just figured with the trade deadline, with my thumping headache, I'd let the buy and sell video go. But I'm thinking about doing other videos, thinking about doing some NFL spread pick videos, and I'm thinking about doing some DFS videos, maybe some DraftKings, maybe some FanDuel videos to make up for not being able to do the buy or sell videos moving forward. So give me, you know, whatever you think I should do. Give me a little, you know, comment down in the comment section. You like NFL spread picks, or you like the more of the DFS, the DraftKings type of videos. All right, boys, holler at me.
I'm hot as fuck, bitch.